Shh, I am trying to make content. Good evening, my friends. Today, I will show you our Christmas morning breakfast tradition known as bundt rolls. Bundt. Bundt. It's a
bundt. Bundt. Bonk. Bundt. It's a cake!
I'm sorry about the commotion in the background, but my kids have decided to roughhouse and run water in the bathroom and jump on each other's heads. Everything is fine. I have it under control. We are starting this video in the evening because this is something you prep the night before, stick it in the fridge, and then get out Christmas morning. We have been doing these sweet, almost like monkey bread pull-apart rolls ever since I married into this crazy family, because I learned it from Dave's side of the family. They do it for Christmas morning and New Year's.
Sometimes.
And sometimes New Year's morning as well. We do not cook this dish at any other time of the year. This is a once a year or twice if it's New Year's dish, and that is all. And that is what makes it special. Only need a couple of ingredientes, and here's what they are. Some Rhodes dinner rolls. I have this 36 roll container. These are not too expensive. I have never tried to make my own dough, and I have never used a different brand, so I cannot answer any questions that you may have about that. The original recipe states that you put 24 to 30 of the frozen Rhodes rolls in a bundt pan, greased bundt pan. That is too many. It will overflow and land on your oven and burn, and then you're gonna have to do a self-clean or a self-clean, and it's highly annoying. So I have learned to tweak the bundt roll pan to about 18 rolls, and that's about perfect. However, as my family has grown, this has become an issue because 18 rolls for 6 people is only 3 rolls per person. And on Christmas morning, 5 is about more like it. And then you kind of snack on it as you're opening presents. Like you go back and eat one, and then you go back, and then you come back and eat another one, drink some water, and then you go back. I have started cooking it in a 9x13 sheet pan instead. I feel like it cooks more evenly and I can put more in there. A couple of other ingredients that you need: butterscotch, Jell-O, cook and serve pudding. This is the 3.5 ounce container. Because I'm going to show you the rolls in a bundt pan and the sheet pan so you can see both, I have 2.
What? This bundt pan?
Mm-hmm.
This one that's conveniently on top of my head?
Yes.
There you go.
I have always served this with pecans, or is it pecan? I think it depends on where you're from. I have these crunched up pecan chips. Ryan does not jive on nuts. So one of these, probably the bundt pan one, well, this one, I'll leave them out, and then I will use the pecans in the other one. For our measurements, I have a 1/2 cup of packed brown sugar, 1/4 cup of white sugar, and 1 tablespoon, that's a tablespoon in case you didn't know, of cinnamon of your choice. To this dry mixture, we will add 1 dry pack of the butterscotch. This is basically a big sugary cinnamony mixture of goodness. Don't get it in your eyeball. Ooh. Then I will add my nuts to 1 of these. Then stir that around until it is mixed thoroughly. Remember, we are not cooking this tonight. We are just prepping it tonight for it to sit overnight. Now, this next part is up for some debate, because once you put the whole thing together, the original instructions, which I received back in 2003, state to leave your bundt pan out on your kitchen counter, covered it in a clean kitchen towel overnight. You know what happens to Rhodes rolls when they've been out for 5 hours? That's right, they get enormous. And I found they've way overrisen and then kind of sunk a little bit the next morning. It's just not working for me. So what I do instead is I place them in the refrigerator overnight, and the second I wake up Christmas morning, I pull them out. They sit on the counter for an hour, and then we start cooking. So here's how the schedule usually goes, is I'll pull them out and we'll go do stockings. Christmas morning is a slow process in my house. We'll do stockings, we'll kind of look at everything, we'll play with some things, while the bundt rolls are cooking. Then we stop the stockings and we come and eat everything and then go back and do the wrapped presents. I'm not saying you have to do it that way. I'm just saying that has what's worked for us. Second one, this one has no nuts in it. And of course I will show you this whole process. We're super lucky because I'm filming this pre-Christmas so you guys can see it and then try it. We'll have these twice this year, like twice in a week. So that's really exciting. My kids will love it. Did I mention you need a stick of butter and it needs to be melted? Did I mention your bundt pan needs to be greased? Or if you're using a baking dish, it needs to be greased. Yeah? Go do that right now. Since I'm making 2, I need to melt 2 sticks of butter. So I will do that right now and then we will build. These will sit in here for about 12 hours overnight. And then in the morning, when you get up, just take them out and go sit them on your kitchen counter so they can kind of come to room temperature before we bake them. I had a problem today. So if you make these, just keep in mind, because I only make them once a year, I often forget how I did it the year before. So I should really take notes in my little recipe book. But my fridge outside, which is where I put these, ended up being way colder than a regular fridge, I think. So if I remember right, what I used to do is I would let them sit out until I went to bed late, because I go to bed late on Christmas night, like Christmas Eve, always. They've been out on the counter for a couple hours and I just stick them in the fridge to stall the rise process so they don't get too big. These have been sitting out on the counter for about 2 hours to like actually start to rise, because they did not do it too much. But you can see that these have gotten quite a bit bigger than when I got them out of the bag and put them in here. This is, I think that's just butter, like a big chunk of butter there and there. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cook this one first, because this one looks like it rose a little bit better. If you're not doing 2 to show your audience the 2 different pans, you would not have to do this, but I'm gonna cook this one first. It goes in a 350-degree oven, uncovered, for about 20 to 30 minutes. So we'll do this one first, and then this one will have risen for a touch longer. Then we'll do this one, and then we flip them upside down, and the soupy caramel sauce gets all over everything. So let's stick this one in the oven now, and then I will show you what it looks like after it comes out. This is actually a 10 by 15 pan, and this is what it looks like after 20 minutes, and I'm gonna stop right here so they don't overcook. Now let's switch to the bundt pan, and here is what it looks like before I put it in. Just a reminder, that is like chunks of butter. I'm gonna check it at 20 minutes, because if it gets a little too brown on top, I'm gonna put some foil on the top so I don't burn the top while the bottom is finishing cooking. So here we go. Set the timer for 20 minutes and then we'll check on that one. It's not coming off. It's going. I should have done it a while ago. It's sat too long.
Oh, there it goes.
There it goes. There it is. There it is. Can you get in there and?
Oh, you know I can. This is like the best part.
I'll scrape that. The bundt pan, and then some kind of platter. I'm just using a cookie sheet because it's easy. Boom. And because I did this one like right when it came out of the oven, it's gonna be a lot saucier and juicier because I waited too long on the last one. There you go. That's what I'm talking about right there. I still need to scrape some of this caramel sauce off my pan. I'll just kind of dump that on top. I think I only did 14 rolls in this one. I think that's perfect. And I always get the sauce on my oven mitts. Now I gotta wash that. So here's the bundt pan version. Of course, it's much prettier. Sometimes we do have an issue with them being a little doughy on the inside or the bottom side, but because I did so few of these this time, it actually looks pretty good. So let's just pull one of these out. Whoop. Yeah, these are definitely cooked all the way through, so that's great. Sometimes I have to flip it over, and then once it's upside down, I stick it back in the oven for 4 to 5 minutes. If they're a little doughy, I have definitely done that in the past. You just kind of have to see what it looks like if it's cooked to your liking. And then you just take a big, nice bite of that. Oh, it is burning my hand. It's literally been out of the oven for 3 minutes or something. Tip from me to you when you eat these, first of all, your hands are gonna get a little messy. Number 2, have something to drink. You need like a big glass of water because they're so sweet, but they're buttery, caramelly, soft. They are so delicious. The first time I ever had these in my life was my first Christmas after marrying into Dave's family. They made them as per their tradition, and I was like, what are these rolls? Because in my house growing up on Christmas morning, all of us had a box of our favorite cereal in our stocking, and that is what we had for breakfast. We saw our box of cereal, each kid had something different. We went into the kitchen, ate our cereal, and my mom was like, and easy breakfast. I think both of those ideas are viable options. If you want to make this recipe, I will leave that down below for you. It's really good, but I highly recommend you only cook it about once a year. And then it becomes something special and not like an everyday occurrence. Thanks for hanging out with me today. And if you try the rolls or if you have had them before, let me know down below what you think. I'm super curious to know what your Christmas morning breakfast traditions are. If you've had these, if you like them, and if you try them, what do you think? Hope you enjoyed this day's Vlogmas video. I still feel like I'm gonna say that wrong. And I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Alexa, play the High School Musical 3 soundtrack.
I'm super